Approved. Let me know when you're good, please. Thanks, Drew. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the March 22nd meeting of the Board of Selectmen. If you could please join us, rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you much. There's a lot of happiness about to happen in a few minutes, but we have some administrators to take care of first. Let's do minutes of the regular meeting of March 8th. Any discussion? If not, I'd love to hear a motion.
Motion that we accept the meeting.
Thank you, Nancy. I have a motion. I have a second. Second, Steve. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Abstain. All those opposed? All right, we're gonna go 401 on that. Community relations announcements and open forum. No. Leave the little one here. It's fine. Let's go. I'm not kidding. Bring back that. No, yeah. Good.
All right, Charlton Police Department is enforcing pedestrian enforcement for the month of March with NHTSA federal funds through EOPSS programs. Household hazard waste and electronics collections is Saturday, March 26th from 9 to 1 p.m. at Casella Waste Service Facility, which is at 165 Barefoot Road in Southbridge. Proof of residence is required. The vouchers can be picked up for, the vouchers are about $30 and they can be picked up at the Board of Health office. Now the Charlton Library announcements. Canopy. Charlton Library offers Canopy, which is, I actually signed up for, it's actually pretty cool. It's a video streaming service. It's available for free to all Charlton residents with the valid Charlton Public Library card. The Canopy has the selection of about 30,000 all kinds of films, movies, documentaries, so on and so forth. All of that information you guys can find on the Charlton Library website at charltonlibrary.org. Southwick Zoo tickets are also available at the library. They are for sale at the circulation desk for $20 each, cash only, and there's a minimum of 5 tickets. Friends of the Library Book Sale Room. This is something that I didn't know existed, and I found that very, very wonderful thing. You can guys go to the library when you enter the main door on the right side. There's a room filled with books. You can have any of those books for a donation. The donation box is right on by the door. All that money that is raised by the Friends of the Library is to support the library program, speakers, and museum classes. Boston Bruins PJ Drive through March 31st. Every year, the library takes part in a special event, a collaborative effort between the Massachusetts Library Association and the Boston Bruins to collect and distribute PJs to children in need. For those who still wish to contribute new PJs, the donation box is located in the children's room. It's the best way to get it is from the other side of the library. You enter the door on the right side, there's a big box. Guys, if you have the PJs, there are kids that are in need. And mark your calendars for Saturday, April 30th is a Charlton Earth Day townwide cleanup and Earth Fest on the Common. National Earth Day theme this year is Invest in Earth. Sign up for a road online beginning April 1st on Town of Charlton Earth Day page or sign up in person on the Common April 30th. Cleanup is 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. Earth Fest on the Common is 11 to 2. Educational vendors, live music, food trucks, games, and giveaways. That's it.
Thank you, Basha. Appreciate it. Any other announcements from the board? Hearing none, community forum. Anyone in the audience? Let's move right along. Let's go under sub-item 4, the appointments resignations, looking at an appointment for the Historical Commission. Mr. Bones.
Attached is a talent bank form from Michael Bowie. Mr. Bowie was interested in being appointed as the WRTA advisory member, as well as Veterans Housing, but the WRTA advisory member position is filled and we do not have a Veterans Housing Committee. We reached out to Mr. Bowie, informing him of other committees that have openings, and he is interested in being appointed to the Historical Commission. The chairman of the historical commission reached out to Mr. Bowie, and they would recommend the board appoint Mr. Bowie to the historical commission, and I would concur. The term expiration for this appointment is June 30th, 2024.
Thoughts on the board? Mr. Chair. Mr. Singer. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Patsy.
So is Mr. Bowie here? Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That is unanimous. Mr. Bowie, welcome to the show. We're looking forward to working with you. Next up, Old Home Day Committee.
Attached are two talent bank forms from Daniel LaBeouf and Deborah Anderson seeking to be appointed to the Old Home Day Committee. The Old Home Day Committee would recommend the board make the appointments, and I concur. The expiration date for these appointments is June 30th, 2022.
Thoughts from the board?
I make a motion that we appoint Danielle and Deborah to the Old Home Day Committee.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Would like to have a second? I'm going to go with David. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That is unanimous. Thank you, Danielle and Deborah. Next up, we'll come ahead of schedule. So let's jump down to new business. Special one-day liquor license. This one should be pretty innocuous.
Application for a special alcoholic beverage license for the Overlook Committee. Attaches an application submitted by Overlook for a special alcoholic beverage license to be used March 31st, 2022 from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the Performing Arts Center at 88 Masonic Home Road for a fundraiser for the people of Ukraine. The application was forwarded to Police Chief, Building Commissioner, and Fire Chief, which have all been approved with the stipulation by the Fire Department that Mr. Moore be present to serve as crowd manager, ensure all egress remains clear of any obstructions and trip hazards, and all restrictions in NFPA 1, 2, 527 CMR 1 and MGL 148 shall be enforced. Per the board's policy, if the special alcoholic beverage license is approved, the dates on the license should include the day before the event to allow the alcohol to be delivered, the day of the event, and the day after the event to allow any alcohol left over to be picked up. The recommended motion is.
Thank you for talking about that. We appreciate that. Questions from the board?
Motion.
Please do.
I move to approve the special alcoholic beverages license submitted by the Overlook community with the dates on the license to be March 30 to April 1st, 2022, with the recommended stipulation by the fire department.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Would like to have a second? David. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous and also for a nice cause. So everybody checks it. Next up, I think we can also do the nomination of the inspector of animals.
Attaches a notification by the Division of Animal Health that the Inspector of Animals and the alternate Inspector of Animals term will expire April 30th, 2022. You're asked to make the appointments of Emily Sears as Inspector of Animals and Kathleen Flynn and Edward Hart as the Assistant Inspector of Animals. The term of these appointments will run from May 1st to April 30th, 2023. Police Chief Dowd is recommending the appointments as well. Once the appointments are made, we will notify the Division of Animal Health who will make the official appointments.
Thank you. Discussion and questions from the board. Hearing none, I'd love to hear a motion.
So moved to accept.
I'm gonna go with Steve.
Second.
Patsy, thank you for the second. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is unanimous. Thank you very much, Kathleen and Edmund, I would say. Appreciate it. Looking forward to working together. All right, Chief, we're good. You guys good? Yeah. Cool. So I kicked off the meeting, so we're about to actually have some good news, but I want to get the administrative stuff out of the way so you can have more time. So I won't do this justice. So Chief, I'm going to turn it over to you and your staff who will do it much better than I could.
So yeah, some good news, long overdue, I might add. We had two on the agenda, but scheduling error on my part, there's only gonna be one. But Joe literally came to us probably the day before we had to mask up for COVID. He came on full time, he was a callman before that, and due to all the restrictions and whatnot, obviously we had to push back the pinning ceremony. So I wanted to make sure Joe got due recognition and the ability to have his family here for the pinning ceremony. So we're going to go right to it, invite his lovely wife up to do the honors. And we're gonna introduce Joe Dana to the Board of Selectmen.
Joe, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Joe, is that your son?
Yeah, sure.
No, seriously, bring him back home.
That-
Honestly, Board of Selectmen meetings are kind of like church, like kids are better.
It makes it all that much. more real.
Like, yeah, don't sweat that. Honestly, and most of the time when we're talking about the budget, we scream and yell way louder. So don't even-
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's-
Chief, looking forward to get Otto back here at some point too.
And there's two others as well.
Yeah, that's gonna be exciting.
Here he is.
Family always comes first. Don't worry about that.
Hey, don't drop lights.
Oh. I got it. Well, he's upset. He wants to work for the police one day. What do you think?
Here we go. He wants to see that.
Thank you.
Or not.
You got this, Drew? Thanks, man. Well done.
Clapping for me.
Congratulations. Be safe. You wanna come sit with us? Thanks, Chief. Thanks, Joe. Chief, anything else you want to add to that? Or?
For a couple of new buildings.
Okay, yeah. Look at my Facebook page. That's all I'm saying.
That's when we start rolling on the floor.
What's your son's name?
Julian.
Julian? See you, Julian. Or really hang out if you want.
No, he wants to now. He got clapped. He was clapped.
He has food and everything.
I'm trying to lower the voting age to 2. Bye, Julian. Everyone else, thanks for coming tonight. We appreciate it. Thanks, Chief. Pleasure. Oh, exactly.
That's the future selectman.
Oh,
Blows the phone.
All right, we're at 6:50, council on aging. I don't think we're here yet. Andrew, do you have anything on number 12 for the TA report?
Not much. 2 of the items were just regurgitations from the prior one, just I think the board, and we'll update on really the crumbling concrete other where it stands right now with the house. Budget timeline just as the FYI for the board when next month's the finance committee are, and just to keep the board informed of stuff that I'm doing, to present to the Auditors and Accountants Association on economic development strategies. Not much.
Any questions for Andrew? I know it's relatively straightforward. Obviously, he and the team are completely engulfed in, budget talks at the moment. So.
Do you want to, do we have time to run through any of the articles with the, they're basically the COD, is it?
Yeah, we have 5 minutes. We should be okay.
We can knock out one of them, at least not both, they're easy.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, let's do that one first, if that's all right. David, you know what? Let's do these student select people, if that's all right.
Sure, make it easy.
Yeah. I can't remember who went last time. So you know what?
Flip for it.
I'm
One of them was here.
Yeah, we weren't here.
killing it.
Yeah.
All right, so Nina, just for that, you're going first.
Okay. So Charlton, not Charlton, Shepherd Hill. So right now we have the Battle of the Boards going on. So the Battle of the Boards will run from Tuesday, which was running from Tuesday, March 1st, and it ends the 28th of March. And we will be raising paper goods against all, and also feminine products. And it will be the Dudley Elementary School, DMS, and Mason Road versus CMS, CES, and Heritage versus Shepherd Hill. And we will be sending NHS students down to each school and count up and tally all the items for the 28th after school. So start grabbing those paper towels and donating. And congratulations to the Shepherd Hill Music Department. They just went down to Florida to compete, and for fantasy won 2nd place overall. And Hannah White and Elizabeth Valley won Best Solo out of that division, and Brian Gosling won Best Guitar Solo. And Illusion won first place Grand Champ. So congratulations, guys. They got Best Vocal, Best Choreography, and Best Show Design. Color Guard got 4th place overall in Dartmouth, and so did Winter Percussion overall in Dartmouth as well. So congratulations again. So the yearbook sales. This is the final chance to get yearbook sales. The price is $100 now since it is the over past due date, but so everyone get their yearbooks before they're all sold out. So there was a virtual exhibit held on March 14th, and a couple students from Shepherd Hill entered their featured artwork into this exhibit, and it was Jake Baudette, Jen Brozodek, I think that's how you pronounce her name, Ida Lindstrom, and Colin Moody. So hopefully we get their placements soon. So we wishing you guys the best. And Ashley Harvey, one of the Shepherd Hill seniors of the class of 22, made her own choose your own Shakespeare play. And so that's happening Saturday, May 14th. So basically the audience gets to choose whatever that group of people who wanted to perform in this drama club. And we don't know what Shakespeare play is going to happen. The audience gets to choose it. So they're prepared for everything. So everyone go to that and choose your Shakespearean play. And so tryouts for our spring sports began on the 21st of March. And so coaches reached out to all the people that were accepted. And so congratulations, guys. And so you guys can still actually go into the Shepherd Hill Athletics website and go into any of the spring sports. You can talk to the coaches. They're very kind in this sense because we're all looking for more teammates because people aren't necessarily playing this year. I don't know why, but so everyone go sign up for some sports. You need the activity. And so course selection for the class of 2022 and 2023 is out. So everyone go pick your classes. So we're prepared for next year. So you get what you want and you're not left out in any activities. And finally, Booster Club. So let's dance back to the 80s. So the Dance the Night Away and DJ Foe. So at Point Breeze in Webster, Massachusetts, there's an 80s dance, a dinner, cash bar, and a 50-50 raffle happening on Friday, April 2nd at 6:30 at Point Breeze. So everyone go and have fun. That's all.
Questions for me? As
Where are you
always-
going to college?
What's that?
Where are you going to college?
How you paying for college?
Yeah.
Question number 2.
Izzy, if you wouldn't mind.
All right, so at Bay Path, this week is Spirit Week. Tomorrow is Sports Day. Thursday is Pajama Day, and Friday is Hat Day. Today was School Spirit Day. So to participate in Friday Spirit Day, students have to pay $2 to donate to the Boys and Girls Club if they want to wear a hat. MCAS is this week for freshmen and sophomores, and it's going on until Thursday. And our Skills USA district competition was Wednesday of last week. Skills USA is pretty much just, it's a test where you work with hands-on stuff with your shop and also hard skills and soft skills with your shop. You take like a test and stuff. So congratulations to all medalists. For seniors recently voted on their class superlatives. Voted ended on the 16th, so stay tuned for the yearbook. Class dues must be in before buying tickets for prom and ordering cap and gowns. To get those in, it's $25 per year and $100 for all 4 years. This year's prom is themed Enchanted Forest, and it'll be held at Pleasant Valley Country Club on May 6th from 6 to 10 p.m. Tickets are $60 and are on sale until the end of March. Our class trip is on May 31st, and we will be attending a Woo Sox game, and there's more information to come on that. For sports, all spring sports tryouts began yesterday, March 21st. All teams are going until Thursday, so they'll know by the end of this week who made the team. Softball's first game is March 31st against BBT. And then for extracurriculars, NHS is having their induction ceremony sometime in May. We do not have a date yet, so there's more information to come on that as well.
Questions, please?
Yeah.
And again, who's going to?
Not a question, but I'd like to make a comment and a thank you. This is for the old home day. I kind of put you on the spot. Asking
Oh
you to
yeah,
make
of course.
the
Yeah.
posters.
Mhm.
I didn't mean you had to do them in 8 hours.
Oh.
We have like old home days in September. Thank you for that. Thank you for that quick turnaround.
Well, that is
Very well appreciated. Thank you.
And on a personal favor, if you see the superintendent and the business manager roaming around, just say that they were missed at the finance committee meeting that they missed.
Just gonna throw it out there.
Oh,
too.
okay.
Oh, yeah, wait till after graduation.
All right.
Just throw it out there. I mean, I tend to attack the early childhood school committee as best I can, so anything I can do to make it somewhat fair,
There was no reason, obviously, for them to be there, obviously.
obviously. Thank you.
I knew you guys
Oh, wait,
had
did
that.
we go there?
No, we didn't. Level funded.
So we have our friends from the Council on Aging. Nice to make an appointment this evening. So what I think we need to do is have your group open up your meeting, make a motion, and with a little discussion, we'll take a roll call vote, I would assume, and then we'll take it from there. So however y'all want to do it, the floor is yours, as they say. Sure. So you know what? Former selectmen's prerogative. You're like, yeah, you're absolutely.
I opened the Council on Aging meeting at 6:50 PM. Now I'm open to a motion concerning another board member. I will make a motion. Okay. Mike, and a second. Okay. You need to make the same motion, or do we vote first and then you?
You know, actually, what I was hoping to do is kind of set precedent, because I think more and more that we're going to do these, and at least depending on the board feels, is that what I'd like to think from policy wise, whether it be unofficial, that the visiting board would make the motion, then we just do a roll call vote all around, one at a time, because there might be times when there are multiple candidates. And that we all just say yay or nay per person vote, if that's okay with the board. And whoever wants to be chair next year wants to change that, that's fine, but at least for now, something to kind of set things going.
Look at you, trying to simplify things.
Everyone's. So, Mr. Zreski, first of all, thank you very much for wanting to help out. It's like you are the true backbone of our town and how it works with volunteers like this. So I just want to personally say, thank you. With that being said, it looks like I have a motion. I have a second. So it's up to your board. If you want to do a roll call, do it all at once, however you want.
I'll do a roll call. Barbara? I'm a last member. And will you vote? Oh, yes, I approve of the nomination. Jim?
I approve.
Jim?
I approve.
Vicky? I approve. And I approve.
Thank you. David?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Basha?
Hi.
Patsy?
Hi.
Chair votes aye, and that is a unanimous vote. Welcome to the show. We look forward to working with you and partying with you. See, we're more than happy to talk to you about other stuff, or if you want to adjourn your meeting, then you can all go home and relax and watch us.
I
They
will
don't do
adjourn the
that.
meeting at 6:52. Thank you.
Works for me. Thank you all for coming in.
Thank
Mrs.
you.
Reski. Again, thank you all as always. We have a few minutes until our poll hearing, which again is always going to be a source of comedy. So let's go down to old business, the town meeting article discussion. Andrew, I know you and I talked a little bit about.
Yeah.
Can you give us the?
Just like to say thank you.
No, thank you.
Oh, no.
Honestly,
Thank you.
No,
usually our
thank
thanks to
you.
you. So
Thank you.
if you need anything, call Andrew.
We have a problem with getting a new car.
It's better
I'm
than
going
a
out this
center.
door.
Yeah, but guys.
Put down the school tier one.
Yeah.
Oh, I said that too? Yeah.
Oh, wow. Dude, that was harsh.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew, talk to me about, or talk to us around MGL chapter 40 and
Yeah.
whether it's.
So, looks like back in 1999, we'd actually brought this before town meeting. There was never a vote on it. It was postponed indefinitely, and then we found it in the minutes, so it was ever brought back up. Right now, and we're doing a lot of our requirements to meet ADA are met within the guidance by building and planning department. So establishing a commission on disability, unless you went with establishing the next requested vote, which was essentially to establish the ability to collect fines from parking in handicapped spots to go toward ADA compliance issues. It doesn't really add any additional teeth other than creating another board. So at this time, it may not be the most prudent to pursue this just to continue status quo, but I defer to the board if you thought otherwise based off the material provided.
So Andrew, let me ask you this. So this was brought to my attention from a resident, and I believe the catalyst for it was the lack of an ADA committee. Would our existing processes allow for the creation of a separate board? Because personally, I would like to see, basically, I'd like to see if there was enough interest to have a distinct appointed ADA board if possible. Now, what I don't know is whether we need to adopt MGL to make that happen.
I think to give them the teeth in order to make that, you would, if you want to just create an advisory board,
Yeah.
you probably don't need the commission.
So I'm just throwing out my 2 cents. I would rather at least move forward with the town meeting on this one to actually have us pass the MGL, allow us the opportunity to have a board that in fact could collect those fines and put it to good use. But if it fails there, then we can have a discussion around otherwise. But again, my famous joke, even though it's not a joke, I'm 1/5 of the board. So let me defer to the rest of the board for conversation.
So what happens to the fines now?
They just go into
General fund.
and we don't, we're not necessarily have a lot of on-street parking with, handicap access, so it's not like we collect a large amount from that, so it just kind of turns over.
But it's less than-
Yeah,
So-
No, I guarantee it's less than that. Yeah.
Again, I just look at, like, I'm not saying I'm opposed to it. I'm always happy to hear and explore opportunities. I'm just always one that says, do we need to expand the size of government if there's really no benefit? In other words, to Andrew's point, we don't have that many places around town where we would even have the opportunity to institute those tickets and fines. And we already have the power to do most of what this committee would do without even taking that step. So we already have the authority to, I think, do almost everything that this committee would do, or this board, without the necessity of making our town government even bigger for something that would have little return. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's something I want to add, but let's go, Edgy, let's go Patsy. then.
I like the idea of it, but the thing is, we're always in a budget crunch. How much is it gonna cost us? And we have a hard time getting people to join committees and join boards. So how much extra work are we going to add in like the cost benefit of this? I'm just not sure it's there. I mean, it's definitely important, and I know that the town views this as important. Again, I like putting things in front of the town. I like them to vote on it. I just think that because of the kind of town we are, it may not be worth to, have something so official and with the
That's a
manpower.
question.
Actually, David, let me hold on for 1 second. Let's go, Steve, question to David and then Bosch if you have.
Yeah, I think part of this isn't just, part of it is also parents that may be looking for a place when their children are need a little bit of help and they're not sure where to go to. If the schools can help them.
We don't have any authority of the schools anyway.
No, but there's not a disabilities person in the town hall. I'm not sure we have the need that we need to do it here, but is there a regional way we could do it? Southbridge must have one, Dudley must have one. Can we work something out with them? Where we could potentially send people. Someone called me the other day and asked me, who can I go to for help with my son? And I honestly didn't know the answer.
It depends on the issue.
What?
A lot of depend on what you need.
Well, I'm not gonna get into the issue now, but it was beyond school. The student is in his 20s, and I mean, the child is in his 20s and out of school. Where do they go? I think,
Falls under healthcare advocacy, then it wouldn't necessarily be under something that a commission on disabilities would address. Like they may not address individual one-on-one, they're more looking at architectural access issues than that type of stuff.
And there are other options, we're saying, like Masons and Lions and other groups as well, that sometimes the families need a certain issue addressed for a child or student that they can sometimes turn to for help. From anything from wheelchairs to other kinds of assistance for a lot of, but it's hard to direct them without knowing the actual issue. But I see your point.
David, you had a question?
Yeah, the question was just simply this. Since we have two actual options before us, three is do nothing. But there's still two options to move ahead with something like this. One is, MGL. The other is just an advisory. What if we start off with the advisory route first to simply see if we even have enough people in town coming forward to get involved and make this thing actually viable? And if no one comes forward for this, then why are we going to try and take further steps to put something with real teeth into it if we can't get people to get onto an advisory committee. If we can do an advisory committee as like step one, and if, wow, okay, we got people who are all want to get involved in this, then certainly if we have other town meetings, if we see that we've got enough people, step two is we go from advisory to MGL. It's just taking the big bite. Let's see if we even can get people to want
So
to
the
do it.
advisory would kind of come to us and say, we think we need to do this, like that's what kind of their.
Well, that also, but if you have one person that comes up, it's like, all right, as opposed to if you suddenly have 10 people saying, yeah, I'm interested. And wow, if we got that many people interested in coming onto an advisory committee, then that I think would tell us that there's enough people to actually, be involved if we had to make an actual commission.
What would the objective of the advisory committee be?
I'd have to read exactly what they're asking for, but basically. Hold on.
I didn't mean to make you do the research. I'm just saying, would their objective be to determine if we need to do this?
No, I think that the objective would be to perform the function of that, but in an advisory role, so there's no actual teeth. They're in an advisory role. They would actually perform what that commission would do without being able to say, no, this is it, this is it. Because why are we gonna go through all those steps and jump through those hoops if no one comes forward? Whereas we don't have to go through all of this just to see if we have the support to do it. Put the advisory committee in place. And if we see that 5, 10 people stepping forward and saying, okay, we do have the bodies to support this, then it's very easy to just take the next step at the next town meeting and add something for Mass General Law.
You just stole my thunder. I was going to say exactly that. I think if there would be, for me, advisory committee makes much more sense than going, a whole 9 yards, especially when we don't know if there are people that actually are willing. It's good to have an idea and an objective, but to take it and actually do something with this is father thing. And I know that the schools are working very hard and all the foundations as well on the social emotional dilemmas, all that, because disability can be very broad. So I know that they getting, funds and grants and all sorts of things. There will be assigned and to disability of all kinds for sure. So I know that the schools are on it too, which if anybody wants to get involved, I would strongly suggest to start with the schools, if that's about the children, because I think they know what's from the mother. But it starts with the school, see what's available out there. There's all sorts of groups that are actually promoting all kinds of, help to the children with disabilities. I'm with you, David, and your thoughts, and advisor would be something that would be.
Mr. Brown, I would simply say to that point, this is, I think, a way of honoring that request to start taking those steps without having the town take a position that we find we have to go back to the town meeting to undo something later if one person isn't going to be a commission.
I agree.
Well, I'm gonna take chairman's prerogative to have the last word before we take action and simply say that I understand where everyone's coming from. Reality is this is very much a underserved population because it's not just around schools. It's literally, is this building ADA compliant? How can we make it better? Schools are never gonna have any say whatsoever in the library here or any of the buildings, sidewalks, etc. And right now they have no one up really to go to say, hey, I really need this done. So I'll leave it as that, but I will say that currently this is on the warrant. So to remove it from the warrant, we're going to need a motion. And I mean, technically we have to reopen the warrant, et cetera, et cetera. But what we would need to do is have a motion to reopen the warrant and then remove this from the warrant. And then, that's how it would work. However, I'd probably recommend before we take action on reopening the warrant, we talk around the additional article for the police department and basically take it.
Technically, we wouldn't have to do that. So we could, and I understand where you're coming from. I think we all share the concern, but the advisory committee, I think, still gives us the ability to do all of that. And before we take that big step, which it's more than one person to do this. And the advisory committee still gives us the ability to have that representation and to have those things pursued, but making sure we do it first and get the support from the community to be involved in that first. And we don't have to remove from the warrant.
I mean, we can, it definitely goes
pass over. Exactly.
Yeah.
Pass over that, motion to pass over, move on, table indefinitely and go from there.
The only reason I say that is because we may want to reopen to do the second bullet point.
Okay.
While it's open.
Yeah.
Okay.
So table that one just for a moment.
Get that way.
The second one, dude, it's all about efficiency up here. The next one is the additional article for the police department. Basically, the police department is asking, and for those at home, they're asking us to reopen the warrant to add something in, to increase, the age of special police officers. Long story short, with the amount of traffic that's gonna be, or traffic improvements that are gonna be hitting Route 20 soon, that's inclusive of Amazon, LNG, any other warehouses that might go in up there. Then the other side of town, as you know, Select Person Coronas was kind enough to post today all over social media, in a very good way, Steve, when they say that. That down by Oxbow, going all the way down to, yeah, Jay Anthony's basically, they're gonna be ripping up Route 20 for around a 3-year period. And I know we've had some conversations with Chief Dowd and that it's, honestly difficult to actually staff all these positions. So his thought is, look, how do we increase our population pool in order to make sure that we have enough officers so that people are safe? That was my summary. Andrew, just go correct everything that I said.
No, it's fine. That's one, this is one tool that we're looking at, and other towns have done it as well, as increasing that maximum retirement age from 65 to 70 in order, to essentially buy 5 more years from, the retired, either Charlton police officers or neighboring town police officers or state police officers who are willing to work here for those extra 5 years, just generally doing special police officer duties such as traffic details. We're looking at with post requirements, essentially, it's coming out that you need to be a trained police officer with a minimum training as dictated by the state in order to even do this. So you can't just do that. Well, you're interested in one day becoming a police officer, we'll make you a special, we'll put you on the side of the road to do traffic detail until you go to the academy. That's going to be basically taken away from us under the Post Act. So we are looking at some other options from that point, but this is kind of another kind of low hanging fruit in order for us to try to increase that pool.
And let me also emphasize that if passed by, first of all, if the board wants to put it on the warrant, and if it's passed, it's going to require a home rule petition via special legislation that they actually have to, do like they do with a lot of our other stuff. So it's town meeting plus. So this might take a while to actually get done, knowing the state legislature. So basically, that's kind of where we stand. So questions around this one before we figure out procedurally how we want to move forward. Again, this is one arrow in the chief's quiver to help fill those spots over the next 2 or 3 years.
But he's got a couple of other arrows, and those won't be coming up before town meeting or the warrant
It won't be contingent upon a town meeting vote. Essentially, what we're looking at from another perspective is creating a, say, lack for a better term, traffic constable type position. That is essentially, you're not a sworn officer, you're not a police officer, but you're at least employed by the town to do traffic details. You don't have any police powers. So that's been one way that other towns have gotten around the ability to fill traffic detail roles without adding special police officers. But that's, again, we don't need to go to town meeting in order for that type of, to get that sort of special legislation.
I think if the chief, are we up for discussion now?
Actually, yeah, so short answer, yes. Longer answer, if we are comfortable with at least proceeding with this, we may want to take a motion to reopen the warrant. Then we can decide to either add or subtract either one of these, and then we would close the warrant once again. So procedurally, if the board was so inclined, I'd recommend we at least start with reopening the warrant.
Mr. Chair, I move to reopen the warrant.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'm gonna go with Patsy. Yeah, let's talk about that in a second. Sorry, that's sidebar. All right, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. So the warrant is now officially back open, at least for a few minutes.
Mr. Chair,
So, David,
I move to remove from the warrant the article seeking to create the disability commission.
okay,
Also at the recommendation of the town administrator and the majority of the board.
do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Patsy. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes no, passes 4-1-0. That is removed from the warrant. What I would ask, though, is that the board work with, the planning department and we'll work on that type of advisory committee.
Could
Mr.
we-
Chair?
Can I add that?
Yeah.
I mean, I I'd really like the committee to have that goal to actually say, to come to us and recommend whether we need to add that at the next meeting. if that
Yeah,
makes any
yeah,
sense.
we can
That's
absolutely
what I-
add that as part of their
I'd
charge.
also-
Yeah.
I also want to ask Andrew, as we're moving on anyway.
Yeah.
Can you reach out to the chief and ask about how many tickets the town gives out per year for parking in handicap spaces? I don't know, is it 1 or is it 100? I'd like to know.
I don't even know where, honestly, I don't even know where most of them are.
I have no
That makes
idea.
sense.
So I'm thinking. I'd like to know though, is it like something that we see like once or twice a year? Or is it like something that is happening regularly?
I bet it's much.
And you know what, for me, overall, going with the appointments and stuff like this, people coming up to us with creating a whole commission on disability. I personally would like to meet the people who are coming up with those ideas. Also, the people that we are getting appointed, not just for us, but just for everybody who's watching. I think it's great to put the name to the face to the name. And also in this specific situation, I agree, we need this, this is needed, but this is, it's just, I would like to see somebody who came up with this and tell us all about, maybe there is a group of people, but we just don't know, you know? And if there'll be a group of people, maybe they can advocate for it more, so we can make more educated decision. So this is for me, for now, it's the advisory committee and we'll go with it.
All right, so that one has been removed from at least
Sure.
this warrant. Mr. Singer.
I move to add the police article relative to special police officers in the police department town of Charlton.
I always like to push things forward. Mr. Singer, thank you. Do I have a second for discussion?
Second,
Thank you, Patsy. Any further discussion on this one?
How many more, do we have any idea how many more people the chief thinks he's gonna grab from going from 65 to 70 or is it?
I don't know if he's planning on grabbing additional, but I think it's retaining at least one.
Right, let's keep what he has, and for most of these details, it's paid for by the people doing the details, so there's really no cost.
No.
All right, I'm sorry. Did I motion a second? Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That is unanimous, so that will be on the warrant. What Andrew and I just kind of had a quick sidebar on was, so there have been discussions, I know, around the senior center purchase or et cetera. Currently, there is a placeholder for that on the warrant.
Mr. Chair,
The question is,
I move to remove the placeholder.
okay, so we have a motion to remove. Do I have a second for discussion?
Second that one.
All right, second for discussion. The only thing I would say is that it might be nice to talk to the council on aging once again, just to let them know that we are removing it, because it technically wasn't on the agenda. Granted, it's old business, but it is under, annual
I'm
town
fine, I'll
meeting
withdraw my
discussion.
motion.
But Andrew, I know you've had some discussions, but I'm
I
thinking.
just wanted to, I just want to bring it up while we're talking about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, I think it's good. So again, what we might have to do is our next meeting. Actually, is there time at that point?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
All right.
post it.
So are you gonna rescind the second? Yep. David? Cool. All right. So for now, basically for those at home, here's what's happened. We have removed the MGL for the Commission on Disability, but we're gonna look towards adding an advisory council. And we've added in an additional article to help the police department fill the specials. We may have an additional discussion, /will, at our next meeting discussing whether we want to keep the warrant article on for the senior center purchase of property over at Charlton Furniture. That's kind of where we're at. So that being said, we can either keep the warrant open for now, or we can close it. My recommendation, and Andrew, correct me if I'm wrong on this, I think we can just leave it open and then close it at the next meeting, so we don't have to have an additional motion. All right, so we good?
Leave things hanging out there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, nothing else gonna fly into it.
Exactly. All right, so we have old business done, and actually, we're a few minutes behind on the poll hearing on Gill Road, but we're gonna do it now. So you saw in your packet, we're doing a hearing. I have to read this. Public hearing notice. The Charlton Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022 at 7 p.m. in the Charlton Town Hall Selectmen's Meeting Room. Meeting room 1, 37 Main Street, Charlton, Mass. 1507, and via Zoom, et cetera, to act on a request from the Massachusetts Electric Company, DBA National Grid, requesting permission to locate poles, wires, and fixtures, including necessary sustaining protective fixtures along and across the following public way: Gale Road. National Grid to install 2 SO poles on Gale Road, beginning to a point approximately 20 feet east of the center line of the intersection of Gale Road and Dodge Court, and continuing approximately 200 feet in the west direction. Removing old pole P2240/C4 and 2 tree guide wires. installing 2 new P22 and P23 1/2 40/C2 on an opposite side of the road. The tree guys need to be removed due to Department of the Army removing trees. The span is currently over 200 feet. They need to also install another pole to shorten the span. They're also looking for permission to lay and maintain underground laterals, cables, and wires they above or to certain public ways for the purpose of making connection with such poles and buildings of each of said petitioners may desire for distributing purposes. Anyone wishing to be heard in this matter should appear in the date and time specified via Zoom or concerns in writing. The public hearing is now open. Do we have anyone online that wants to talk on this? Rebecca, I see you out there. We'll probably promote you, but barring anything strange, we should be okay. Hey, Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca from National Grid. Yeah, I've pretty much covered it all. The Department of Army just wants to remove a bunch of dead trees. Currently, pole 22 has 2 tree guys in it. So they need the pole itself moved to the other side of the road. The span currently is over 250 feet between pole 22 and 23. So we're just going to add an additional pole 23.5 to shorten that span.
Cool. Thanks, Rebecca. Any questions
Thank
for
you.
Rebecca from, thanks, any questions from Rebecca from the board? Anyone online that wants to ask a question of Rebecca? Just give us a shout in the Q&A or raise your hand or something like that, or a chat. No, I think we're good. All right, Rebecca, just hold on for a sec. With that, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second. I'm gonna give it to Patsy. Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That is unanimous for the closing of the public hearing. I would like to entertain a motion to approve the request or deny it. Rather.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve that David and Patsy respectively. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Rebecca, you're good. Thanks for coming. We appreciate
Thank you very
it.
much. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
We got nothing on the BOS committees, nothing on the policy reports. TA goals and objectives. Andrew, the only thing is a reminder, let's talk to Lynn for the board, just to figure out what type of format we can use for Andrew's review. We're looking at doing a second meeting in April. Andrew, if you could just maybe type something up for us too, to kind of say basically what you've done, how it's gone against goal, as well as things that were not necessarily in your goals that you've done. It'll make us things easier, but yeah, let's talk to Lynn and just find out if there's a good format we can use. All right, we did all this stuff. We're down under other business. I'm gonna time to post it. Anything going on, folks? Is it? Nina, you guys good? Cool. All right, next meeting, we're doing our BOS our regular meeting is gonna be April 12th at 6:30. We may have some intermediary meetings before that with possibly FinCom, depending upon how that works, and or our school committee partners, again, depending upon how well those negotiations go. But outside of that, again, our next normal meeting is gonna be April 12th. So barring anything else, folks, I'll have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. We're done at 7:19. Thanks, Drew.